didn't happen in 49, 61, 63 or 69 when they reached the final. But the class of 2021 have delivered. Leicester City are FA Cup winners at last and are history makers at Wembley.
Hello, Matt Elliott here.
Hi, Alan Smith here.
Hey guys, Ian Hume here.
Hi everybody, Jerry Taggart here.
Be sure to watch
Chris and Leicester Till I Die TV
for all the latest Leicester City news and information.
You can also subscribe on YouTube and various social media channels.
for the latest updates and news on Leicester City Football Club.
Come on, you foxes!
The Leicester Till I Die shop is now open.
For all your Leicester Till I Die merchandise,
Visit the Leicester Till I Die shop at our website.
They have blown their rivals away. They have blown us all away in truth. Premier League champions 2016. The amazing Leicester City.
Leicester Till I Die TV. Your first choice for everything Leicester City. Tune in and join in now.
Right, Chris.
All right. Good evening, everybody. How the devil are you all? Still no league win in 2022. Does our season now rest on the Europa Conference League? Does Rodgers need to go? So many questions, so little time. I'm sure we'll fit them all in. This is Leicester Till I Die TV. Thank you for watching if you are on YouTube. And if you're not, please nip over to YouTube and give us a subscribe and smash the likes on the video. It helps. And if you are listening on catch up on the podcast on Amazon, Apple iTunes, Spotify, Google, or Podcast Addict, to name just a few, thank you for listening. This is where you can find us.
watch us on YouTube.
Listen on your favourite podcast platform.
Or ask your smart speaker
To play the podcast Leicester Till I Die.
Subscribe, like, follow, and join in now.
I'm sure Brad is going to be having a little bit of a rant when he joins us in a minute about, well, basically, I think it was about Wolves players camping out in our goal for the second. I'm sure he will have something to say on that. I can see him now and he looks absolutely pissed off. He really does. Just go through some of your comments on the Facebook group, which of course is Leicester Till I Die. Uma agrees, it says the same as me. Still no Premier League win. Revised target safety. Not the Paul Glover, not the worst performance this season, but I'm feeling really concerned now as to where the rest of the 40 points are coming from. I know what you're saying. Michael Biggs, one word, garbage. Paul Collins, get ready for the championship. That's where we're heading. I don't think we're going to be. I think there's 3 teams worse than us. Rick Martin's had enough chances to bury Wolves. Get back soon, Jamie. Michael Biggs, twice now he stopped us taking a free kick. Quick free kick. Why? And also, Michael, shouldn't defenders be goal side of the attacker? Bloody basics, bloody garbage. Well, I'm sure Brad will have something to say about that, like I say. Donna, Carey, can someone please tell me what we've done to pee Alan Smith off? And he does have a good thing to say about this, in fairness. I think the problem is the fact that what he says about this is honest. And we can't always take that as fans, can we? You know, we don't think that just Alan Smith isn't necessarily a Leicester fan, and he says it as he sees it. And Clinton Morrison, he sort of said that was unlucky that Leicester deserved the win today, and this was on the BBC, but judge Brendan Rodgers when he's got a fully fit squad. And that is the point. Nick Lalathia, Daka is no Vardy. We are missing Vardy too much. I don't think he was piling them in, though, when he was actually playing, was he? Michael, again, thinking Daka could hold the ball up a lot better. And we've got Brian here. Defense still poor, but attack seems good. Some mixed comments there. Let's just see what's coming in on the channel here. Evening, Chris. Great performance today, but another loss. We need a couple of scrappy wins. Not bother about fancy football at the moment. Just stay in the league. Munsey, good evening for you. Good evening to you. How you doing? Dugout Football Channel. Best players. We'll come to that later. Mike says he's got his analysis for later in the game. We'll try and get you on there, mate, and see what you think of it from a neutral. Dan says it was always going to be a tough game today at Turf Moorhouse TV, mate, at half-time. I thought second half you'd come out flying. Oh, we did come out flying. We controlled that second half, I thought. Are you worried now about being dragged into the bottom half relegation race? Not while you're below us, Dan. Sorry, mate. What? Did I say that out loud? Oops. Let's get Brad in and ask him why there was no miracle for us today. We need some of your miracles, oh godly one.
Can't be arsed. I'm done for this season. Roll on the 2022-23 season. Roll it on. Come on. Get this one in the bin. As far this away is just one of them seasons because I've just had enough, mate. Yeah. I know I have made a segment for it, but just let me have big screen for about 30 seconds, mate.
No, it is yours, mate. It is yours. Hang on 1 second. Hang on 1 second. I've got to press the right button. There we go.
Black dots represent Leicester having shots, and the red dots are the ones that led to goals. That's it, mate. That sums up the whole entire fucking game.
Oops.
Sums up our whole entire game, our whole entire season. That was probably, and all right. That's more how it felt. I'm not saying we actually had that many shots with the amount of dots. Probably if someone keen, I'd probably counted way more than we had when they were looking at the stats. But
you know I'll have the stats for you later. You know it.
Mate. That's how that entire game felt, and it felt like that game drained everybody. That game drained me. That game dragged the belief out of the fans. It dragged the energy and spirit out of them. It was when I knew Molyneux was a hard ground to go to, right? And I give credit to Wolves this season. Fair play to them. We probably had a few games like that last season where we won games we shouldn't have. But it ain't half horrible being on the wrong end of 2 pot shots from 30 yards hitting in the back of that net. And losing a game like that is just annoying.
Keith says
that's actually probably worse than losing 4-1 to Forest because
no, I don't. I won't go that far.
No, because at least we deserve to lose to Forest.
Yeah.
I think in that terms it's worse.
I mean, Keith says evening, Chris. Daka needs better movement. Steve Smart, good evening, sir. How are you? Welcome along to the channel. Good evening. Was a good performance, but we certainly need to get some shooting practice in. That's probably what Brad was saying. Kate, good evening, young lady. Oh, when I say lady, good evening, Kate. How are you? She's got 1 point. She was. having a bad time in the prediction league. She got 1 point and she's happy. Sorry, not sorry. You wait. Mike, as a neutral that doesn't watch you week in, week out, from one game to watch, there was positives. I mean, we've never won. We've never won away at Wolves. I thought today could have been one. I did get a bit peed off when we went 1-0 down and we then have the next 5 minutes in our own half, literally, passing the ball around, pinging balls forward.
Yeah, mate, as soon as that ball hit the back of the net, I just went like that. I knew what was coming. I think every Leicester fan knew what was coming, probably made the same facial expression and give the same reaction again and said, "Oh, for God's sake, here we go again." Because yet again, we were the better team. And Wolves fans coming in and saying, "Not they won." At the end of the day, they would have. What matters is the result. They will gladly say better side at the end of the day because we won. But on top, Q Leicester conceding the goal. The irony is we lost 2-1 today and didn't concede from a set piece.
No, there was that. They won't let it go, though, the reporters, about the our history at set pieces. And
no, but when you've got the
goals.
worst set piece record of conceding from 14 set pieces and 11 from corners, I'm not surprised.
Yeah. I mean, looking at that team, no, Maddison, bit of a tweak, I believe. So, it didn't come on till later. But again, it wasn't a bad team. We're starting to get back there to the strength. What did you think of the team when you saw it?
I wasn't overly surprised. I kind of maybe assumed one way or another we wouldn't see Maddison throughout the 90, whether it was going to be start and come off, or as it was, he came on. I think he came on and we'd already kind of lost our impetus. Well, I say we lost our impetus. It's just one of them, really, wasn't it? I never got that feeling, no matter how well we had the ball and how many times we got forward, like it was ever going to hit the back of the net. And that's the most concerning thing when you're sat there as a fan. And yeah, all right, you're always going to get the odd group of fans that will sit there when you lose and think, well, I don't mind, we're not going to score, not going to score. And then lo and behold, 20 minutes left of the game, we're going to score 2 and win the game, and everybody's suddenly forgotten that they were feeling miserable. But this was a game where I just sat there and I just kind of lost my enthusiasm because I just felt this is going to be one of them games where we just try and nothing's going to go well. It's just, we've said it a lot this season, but this whole performance probably really just stand up Leicester's luck of this season because we finally have a decent performance away from home. We finally create a lot of chances. We finally keep a home team and a home crowd really quiet. They were getting on their backs. And then, again, a pot shot goes in. A lucky shot goes in. And we can't... It's something to see here. I'm kind of just exhausted, mate. I'm exhausted.
You have games like that. But we're having a season like that. I mean, and I've said for many weeks now, and you'll back me up on this, that we've sometimes just got to take it and go, do you know what? This isn't going to be our season. This is going to be a consolidation season. Maybe, like Brendan said, we're going to come out and rebuild the team. I mean, I was on just blow my own trumpet here, blow smoke up my own ass. I was on Talk Sport this morning with Max and Barry, and they were saying, like, does about the defensive problems. We can't stop blaming the defense. I mean, those 2 shots, I don't think it were necessarily down to bad defending because there were pot shots that, they could hit somebody's arse and go out for a corner. He's also saying, like, does Brendan go? But like Clinton Morrison said, how can you judge a manager when half his team's been out at some point all the season with injuries? It is almost like you said, let's just get through the season, maybe do well in the conference and get on to next season.
Yeah, literally, yeah. It's not a defeatist attitude. Just sometimes you've got to accept that it's not going to be your season. You're not going to have a season.
Pint of gin, by the way, just in case you're wondering. I think I need it after that game.
Well, yeah. But, yeah, I mean, it's one of them. It's never nice, but it just seems to be that's how it's set. What was that?
Lootman was somebody that Mike's coming in a bit later to give us a sort of a neutral's perspective.
I mean, I will say this. I will say this, and I know we'll mention him at the end. Spoiler alerts to those who come in. If there's still people out there that don't want Lootman after that, then I'm baffled and need to understand your hearing as to why you wouldn't want him at the club.
Yeah. Definitely. I mean, you were talking about shots. They considered that 17 to us, 11 to them, 7 on target for us, 3 for them, but 2 of them went in. We even got 10 corners, which was like 7 more than they did. We were on top, and I thought that second half. I mean, we went in at 1-1, and it was a scrambled goal. We've got to be safe, but it's a goal's a goal, whether it goes in off your arse or, like you said the other day, farted in. But we came out that second half, and we dominated.
Yeah, we did. Like I said, I don't think there was I don't actually think there was a spell of that fucking game. Excuse my French. The Wolves dominated.
Other types of games are available, children.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't think there was a game I don't think there was a moment. There wasn't there wasn't even a 10-minute spell for me where Wolves dominated. It's just so perplexing, and it makes the result even more frustrating because you control a game like that. It almost reminds me of that. Do you remember that game that people like to throw up where like Man U had like 30 shots and 20 on target, and Fulham had 1 and 1 on target, and they'd like lost 1-0 or drew 1-1 or something like that?
Yeah.
It felt like that.
Yeah.
Wolves did naffle, absolutely naffle. They were poor. We finally went away from home, and we had the impetus. We had their fans getting annoyed. You could hear their fans groaning and booing. I mean, all right, more the officials. The officials is about as much use as a bloody cardboard box out in the rain. But we move on from that. We were the better side. It wasn't like Wolves had any sustained period of pressure, and that's not blue tinted, mate. That's honest. That's just we just weren't clinical in that final third. And I've said it before. The only stat that matters is the shots that count towards a goal, and Wolves did that from pot shots or not. They end up in the back of our net, whether we like it or not, and that's why we've come away with defeat.
Yes, yeah. I mean, is there any part of you? I mean, I'm sat here, and funny enough, I was talking to my son the other day. He was round for the Randers match, and I'm going to say, I know it doesn't. He probably won't be watching tonight, but my eldest got engaged today, so we just want to say congratulations to Sean and Lauren. Lovely girl, and I'm sure you'll be very happy together. She can't change her mind because you've bought a house now and you're doing it up. But I say, Reza, Sean and Lauren have a good time. And if you're watching this, what you're doing watching this, Sean, get out and get celebrating. I know you're on your holidays. But I sometimes have to sit there. Now get back to football. I sometimes have to sit, and when I watch a match, because we do this sort of straight after, I'm almost looking for things to criticize and, to be able to say, well, that was wrong and they shouldn't have done that as talking points. But, we've so often said about the performance, the Forest games won. I don't think you can come off there. And I was a bit surprised. And some of you may have seen, if you follow us on Twitter, Instagram or on the Facebook page, I've already seen sort of the match ratings from Alan that he does for us. I thought they were a bit low, if all honesty, because I don't think there was much we could have.
Better finishing.
Yeah, apart from the finishing, yeah. And
if we had the finishing confidence of last season, we're talking about a win, because I stand by it. Wolves didn't have a spell of dominance at all in that half. Normally, I'm saying that. Normally, I can say, well, they took the impetus when they had the 10, 15, 20-minute spell. Wolves never had that. Wolves were never in control of that game, and it's the most frustrating game I've watched us lose this season, and that's why I say it's the most frustrating defeat, because somehow they've got 2 goals and won the game.
Yes. Yeah. Hi to Anthony. Good win for you. I think
every time I say Anthony's name, I always think it's got Canuckart at the end. I don't know why. It's just it's got a T at the end, I think. And I just
Anthony,
think,
Anthony, how are your Canockarts, mate? Niall, good evening, everybody. How are you? I was on 11:45. It was recorded. I don't know if it's gone up on YouTube or anything like that, but on the morning show with Max and Barry. Mike, watches most games now as analytic than a supporter. Louise, good evening. How the devil are you? A bad result today, but interesting. Not a bad performance at all.
No.
Andrew, good evening. Wolves were no better than us, just ball finishing. It is, but then again, when you look back to the first game of the season, which was against Wolves at our place, they were the same. If they'd have had their shooting boots on that day, you could argue they deserved at least a point, if not all three. So again, for me, the positives are that we did have a decent performance and nobody went off injured, which is
for all that we know, for all we know, they didn't go off injured. I'm sure someone managed to slip over on the tunnel on the way back into the change rooms.
Probably.
But it's just one of them, isn't it? You'd like to come away from the result, from the game, going. In a way, I'd rather swap them around. I'd rather have played Wolves the first game of the season and lost it 2-1 and won a game 1-0 today, being the better team and deserved it. I know football doesn't work like that. I wish it did. But, just we need to get that win this season. We need to get that first win because you've seen now improved performances in that 60-minute spell. I say 60-minute spell because I include the end of the first half in it against West Ham. We were, again, Celtic couldn't beat a team that can't make up their mind before anyone says it. That performance on Thursday was a good performance, despite who we were playing. And again, totally dominated the game. Baffles the mind how we've lost. Still can't wrap my head around it. But if that continues, the one thing I will say was the biggest positive is you feel that if we do that going forward, and I know we haven't got a Premier League game for a while now because we've got Randers on Thursday. We're not playing at the weekend. So
Burnley, I think, are next up for us.
Yeah. So, Burnley have just beat Brighton 3-0. So
you start following Brighton, not Leicester. Give them a bad look. You're not doing so bad at the moment, are you, mate? Keith says they've got to start Nacho next game.
There is another idea he could take.
Play both of them.
Maybe stop trying. Maybe stop trying to play Daka as Vardy and let him use his pace to his way, not Vardy way. He's got the pace and the ability to run behind like Vardy, but let's not make him Vardy. Let's allow Daka to bring his best to us with what he can do and how he plays.
Yes.
Because you're asking Daka to learn something and do something in a division he's never played in before. And to be fair, he's doing a decent job of it. I mean, his goal record's still pretty good, all things considering. But maybe stop trying to turn him into our next number 9 before our number 9's even retired.
Indeed. He wasn't having let's be honest with you, the best of seasons before he got injured. I would like to maybe see Nacho and Daka having to go at being, a couple up at the top.
Well, Chris, did you just mention the forbidden word, the forbidden sentence?
Two up front.
Strikers. Oh, no, mate. Oh, you can't say 2 strikers. That's swearing, mate.
No. Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Struck on YouTube. Oh, what the hell? Thou shall not pass past one striker.
But I've probably been listening to this. He's just fallen off his stool. It kind of did work for us.
Throwing his iPad at the players. Some of Fergie throwing his iPad, listening to it.
Mike says your game was a good watch, so obviously not for you. I mean, again, Clinton Morris on the BBC said from a neutral's point of view, it was a good match. I didn't kind of see it like that. Red Devil Studio, good evening. How are you, sir? Why have Leicester been so bad this season? Mate, we haven't got time in this chat. We haven't got time for that.
We'll do that. We'll do that as an hour-long special show.
Yes, I know. I think we should do that as like, what do they call it? A telethon, I think, because it would go on that. Yes, we possibly did miss Barnes. I would probably want to argue with you there. Do you think Tillemans didn't look interested in his passing was put? Look, we've been through this, Andrew. For me, and I think Brad will agree with me, what is the point of Maddison not looking interested? He wants a move, and he wants a move to a Champions League club. Whoever that, if it's an English one, hopefully it's not, but if it is an English one, whoever finishing those top four. Why would he play badly? Because nobody's going to sort of say, well, we want him. Look, as soon as the team struggles, he gives up. And I don't think he has. If you look at him when he scores and when you look at him when he's fighting, he had a couple of good strikes and good efforts today. Yeah, a couple of them were way over. But no, I think he was no worse than anybody else on the pitch. And I don't think anybody else on the pitch was overly bad.
No, not really. It's getting a bit of a tired point. I'm sick of hearing it, to be honest with you, because you saw what he did for the goal. You saw the way he celebrates. You've seen the way since, I kind of now wish that Fabrizio had kept his flipping mouth shut and just left it be. We knew the situation anyway. We knew before this season without being told, but now it seemed to have come from a reliable source. Not saying he's not, by the way, that he's not going to sign until the summer. Everybody's going, oh, well, he's not playing. He's not playing. He's not playing. He's not playing. He's lost his interest. He's lost passion. Sorry, did we see? I mean, today was better. Today was better than it's been in a hell of a long time. Like these last few performances that I keep mentioning have been an improvement to the way we've been playing, right? They've been fast-tempoed, etc. The whole thing's starting back. It's still shaky. It's still scrappy. We were still mistiming passes. He wasn't the only one playing balls with too much on them or not enough on them. I mean, you look at I beautifully tweeted, I think, and I'm bigging myself up here, that one of the goals we scored on Thursday night was beautifully scrappy because there was it was the one where Dewsbury Hall nicked it back. I think it was Harvey Barnes's goal, and it was a pass from KDH didn't have the legs on it, and then Lootman had to wrap his foot around it, and then the ball bobbled. It was like that going forward for us today. Still, there was some scrappy passes, some overhit passes, some poor decision making in front of goal, i.e., blasting 130 yards over the bar. But you can't. Leicester fans are really, really, and it's not just Leicester fans. Any fans of teams when a player's in question like this, you've got to stop falling for the media trap, because now they've made it so that it can go at the end of the season. What they do is they go, Tielemans is the scapegoat. Leicester scapegoated Tielemans out the club. The fans should be ashamed. That's why he left. And then that's it. They've done the job. You're doing the job for them. Stop looking too much into one man's performance. Look at the rest of the performance. Chris got it right. It was better, but it wasn't brilliant. KDH made bad passes. KDH lost the ball. Maddison, when he came on, lost the ball. Mark Albrighton lost the ball. Don't see you sitting there thinking they're not interested. Please, please do not get lured in.
Yes, no, I agree totally. Anthony says here, Chris and Brad, don't know if you know this, Leicester got 145 million last season, but how much did you spend this season? Probably pretty much the same as your club did, or a lot of clubs. I don't think we spent that much, but then again, we have got loans to pay off, and this is what I can't understand with players. They say, oh, you've sold all these players and you've got this money from the TV, so you've got 145 million, but we haven't got 145 million to splash out on anybody in total because we've got other bills.
Yeah. That 145 million gets issued, divided up between the clubs. And whatever you get of it, you've got to put towards stadium maintenance. Yeah. You've got to put towards player wages. You've got to put towards staff wages. You've got to put towards repairing, fixing, buying new equipment. So
yes, no, totally. It's not all.
I don't know if too many of you get suckered in by the easy, relaxed measures that you get when you play a game like Football Manager, because it's not as critical as the club can be, as it is to run a club, because they want to make the game fun and enjoyable for people to play. But you can't just get your TV license money and suddenly think, oh, well, Leicester can go out and get 3 or 4 players that money. No, they've got to reinvest that in the club. A lot. And, people may forget this, a little bit of inside knowledge for you. A lot of Leicester staff is in-house. So it's all self-paid for by the club, and the money and the finances they made, they're all funded by a department, and they have to find a way to make that money last throughout the year and go again. So coming on here, I understand neutral, wanting to ask the question. I'm not trying to like belittle you and say you wouldn't know, so I'm just trying to explain it. So don't take my explanation wrong.
With an
But there's a
Arsenal
lot
fan,
of
he wouldn't know. Believe you me.
Yeah, well, I know.
Sorry,
But-
Anthony. Sorry, Anthony.
And again, the debts themselves, the owners are paying off to for this. So we have to remember, at the end of the day, as much as they love this club, they are still a business, and they're not going to be successful or able to continue to run this club the way they have been running it if they suddenly just go, oh, well, we can wait. We'll pay double next month on this loan, or we won't pay them this much. We'll do this much, and then
football, as Mike said there, football is run as businesses these days, so we've got to treat them like businesses, and
we just have a very successible business in that terms, and a very
otherwise
generous
you
owner.
get, if you don't run it like business, you end up like a Leeds under Isdale and what have you. You don't want to go down that route. Well, I certainly, we've been close. Well, we've gone out of business obviously once before, but yeah, you have to run it properly. You really do. We have got some breaking news, by the way, and I just want to break in on this because Sky have just putting this up now, but Brad is no longer top of the prediction league. And I just thought that I would mention this. Sorry, Brad, it has to be done. That you were 10 points ahead, I believe, at one point.
Yeah, well, it just proving I'm just more of a true Leicester fan than anybody on here because I get battered everywhere I go.
96 points now, 2 behind me, 98. Steve's on 87. I think Steve did better when you were actually picking for him. He got the Wolves point
the word
today.
thing is, I can't even say that Steve, predicting that for Steve should get voided because Steve would do that. He does like a reverse psychology result.
Yes, he does. He does indeed. I haven't worked on this one yet. So I just wanted to say, Brad, take my moment.
Hold on, just to clarify, is that including my point I get for the Man United result?
I think I took that off.
No,
don't
for the Leeds
one.
Me. The Leeds one.
Me.
Because that's not got a green marker next to it, and I'm pretty sure that's a B in Manchester United, and they beat Leeds today.
Yes, and you got a point for that. You got a point for that.
So you have added it on, is what I mean.
You haven't got. I have included today's, but
that's what I meant, mate. Because I know you haven't graphicised it. Because
only because obviously there's not that long after the match. In fairness, I mean, just balance things out because, as everybody knows, that we do this every week. I get together with the ex-players and we predict the league. Now, I won it last year because we started mid-season. And, of course, I always predict for Leicester, and we were doing well last year. I went for 2-2 against Wolves. Marshy and Walsh both went 1-1. Jerry Taggart is on fire. He went 2-1 to Wolves. Steve 2-0. Ian 0-0. Now, as much as I am now top of our league, Brad, and I've done what I feel I've been like a Manchester United to your Newcastle. I've clawed you back slowly, and I've overtaken you. But I've got to have to be honest. Look at this for the prediction league.
Jerry Taggart's sitting pretty at the top of that, isn't he?
Isn't he just? 21 points. I mean, I'm kind of like I'm cut adrift. I am the Norwich of this division, aren't I? Here, I mean, it's like. But on here, I do what you do. You see, on this one, I always go for Leicester to win because I can never say that Leicester are going to lose. This time, of course, I went for the draw, and it still didn't work for me. So, as good as I am with our league, Brad, I'm bloody awful with this one. Really am. But at
least you're bottom of something. Yeah.
Yes, indeed. The troops are getting restless, as they say. And I was asked straight out front by Barry on TalkSport this morning, saying, "Time for Rodgers to go." Am I Rodgers out? And again, I think it was Sky said today, you cannot accuse the players today of not playing for the manager.
Oh, no,
and that
definitely
was the thing about that performance. And I still say, what's the point of getting rid of him now? Bring somebody in, going to have different ideas, different styles of play. If you might get a little bit of a bounce, a win or two, but then you're back to like them trying to play. And he's still going to have the same problem with the injuries. He's still not going to be able to name the same back 4 or 5 or 3 or whatever for 2 matches running. Brendan doesn't want to make all these changes. It's what he's got available. Give him the summer, give him a chance to rebuild, and look at it again next December when we have the FIFA World Cup break.
I wouldn't say. Sorry, go on.
No,
okay.
By then, of course, we would have had a bit of the season. We'll now see how it's going if he has done the rebuild. And, of course, we've got the window coming up and we've got the break for the World Cup.
I wouldn't even say rebuild is the right word. I think he's already been building. I just think he needs, a Mendy probably gets moved on. I think there's a few players that will go. At the end of the season, there won't be the biggest of losses. There might even be some faces that have not long arrived that may go. Leicester need to probably get rid of a bit, but then they need to build that depth back up. We probably just need to level it out next season. I don't necessarily mean it needs a rebuild, because that to me would suggest that you're going to lose 5 or 6 players that are, or would be, constantly in the starting 11 more weeks than not. And I don't think that's what we need. Yeah, there'll be the threat of the Tillemans. We've already accepted that. But KDH... I'm just
using Brendan's words,
Yeah, but I don't like the word rebuild when it's not a rebuild. To me, it's not a rebuild in terms of the squad. If it's a rebuild in anything, it's a rebuild of how we go about things. Because if there's one thing that I maybe felt was a little bit frustrating today, and I'll touch about it up on my tactics section, is we're still a bit predictable. We're a bit tiring and a bit predictable. I think they're words that you could sum up Leicester's season thus far. But don't think a rebuild in terms of too much on the squad front is needed. It's just more get rid of what's not and bring in what is, sort of thing. I know that sounds silly, but with players that we no longer need or no longer play for us that often at all, and bringing players to strengthen that competition a bit.
So, are you ready with your tactic board?
Ready as I'll ever be, mate.
Miss Molina, I just want to say thank you so much for that. You are my favourite Canadian. I will be honest, you're my only Canadian that I know, but you are my favourite Canadian. No, thank you so much for your support and everything you've done for me since I started this out. I really do appreciate that, and thank you very much. That was much appreciated. Scott, late to the party again. Hope you got a note off your mother. And yes, the replica Premier League. It is the replica. It could be the real one. You don't know. You don't know how well I get on with the FA, Molina. I tell you. Now, it is. If I was working now and I had some spare money, I'd actually buy a replica FA Cup. Because did you know we won the FA Cup last year, Molina? I've got to remind her because she tends to forget. She is very forgetful. But he is getting his blue pills out, is Brad. He's getting ready to go. And we are now, I think, ready for Brad's tactical analysis, are we, Brad?
Ready as I'm ever going to be, mate, with my phone.
Here we go. Here we go, then. It's all over to you, sir.
Cheers, Chris. Today's tactical analysis isn't really much I can say on the style of Leicester's shape, because it was what I've been asking for. We kept that nice curved back line 4, so if we needed to recycle, we could have. But I want to point out maybe the contributing factors to why Leicester are conceding so many goals and getting caught out so much. In terms of conceding goals and getting exposed at the back by a new method. And here's what I mean, because this is what I saw for a chance that Wolves really should have taken in one of their very few chances in the game. And this here is just Kagwa Soyuncu and Daniel Amati. And what I did notice is just waiting about here on this side of it was a Wolves player. Just waiting. And what happened is one of these would push a bit too far forward, keeping in line, and then Wolves play the ball dead through to that open area. They hit, it's something that teams work on in splitting defences. Hit this area. And that's exactly what Wolves were able to do. They hit this area, and this isn't the first time. If you go back and watch a couple of chances from the last few games, you'll notice that they're playing a ball in for someone to get in the back line. And we're lucky, really, that Wolves didn't capitalise on it, because they only did it once, and once was nearly enough. And I noticed my pen's kind of low on the ink, using it a lot. But that was one area of concern, and we do it a lot. And it is kind of concerning that we still, even though we keep a better shape, we're still allowing that open gap and still pushing too far forward as an individual centre-back. It's one that I prefer us to do if we've got a line of 3. But because we've got a line of 2, we do play with a wide gap between our 2 centre-backs. It's probably like that on average, to be fair, across the pitch. When one pushes up, like it's normally Soyuncu and Amati's the one back, Amati, to his credit, is a great tracker of the run, but he's not the quickest. And when you expose yourself like that and you don't keep an eye on a player just drifting out to the left of you, then you're going to get open like that a few times. And in fact, we've actually conceded a few goals that way. Now, again, if you all want to donate to the Leicester Till I Die membership charity page, not only will you get some free stuff, but you might be able to help me fund myself a cloth so I can clear this board off. But another thing that I don't like to see as well is this. And this would indicate here that when Wolves are on the attack, predominantly down the middle, in a 3-man press, and I know they look horrible, but I never learnt to draw arrows. I do them disgusting arrows. They look very perverted. I'll try and draw them more professional for you. What Wolves also did is they exploited it like other clubs, and they left players, especially on this right-hand side of attack, they left someone there just to push in, just to operate down this wing. And the most frustrating thing is here, you might be thinking, well, that's Soyuncu, that's Amati. No, the thing is, that was Soyuncu, this was Soyuncu, and this was our left back. This was the position of Luke Thomas, and it baffles me why our left back, and it was preferably on the left, because on the right side, Pereira was a lot more closer to his byline and keeping them out wide. Is a left back's job on the defensive structure isn't to do 2 jobs. It's a weird instruction he seems to be given, and he seems to not know when to push and when to stick to the byline and force it to press out wide. Because what I did notice is every time this happened and the ball was spread out wide and Luke Thomas was found way too far in deep in the middle of the pitch, is the player on the right would not only get in, but Luke Thomas would make the basic error of then, instead of going towards the player and cutting out his angle as he'd drive in onto the byline, what he'd actually do is he'd do what any novice defender would do in that situation, and it really baffles me, is he'd get confused between the runner trying to then press in the gap here, which is Soyuncu's job or Amati's job, which he shouldn't need to be worrying about, but he'd go dead straight. He always seems to have this inept ability to read the game when he's forced inside and he's not comfortably hugging the touchline, which is where he's at his best. He goes dead straight, and then all that happens, and I'm sorry if this is all confusing you with the lines, but all that happens here is the player that attacks down this right hand side goes down the right, cuts into the byline, waits for Luke Thomas to commit, and then doubles back on himself, and he's in on the 6-yard box to either hit it across goal or then drill it across the 6-yard box, hoping one of his teammates picked it up. So the problem is Leicester aren't getting their defensive basic shape right when they get caught out of possession. Now, that stems from what I've just said. Leicester not keeping the ball in a counter-attacking matter in shape, and they give the ball away at pivotal moments. And it is normally where my board goes flying to give up on the tactics. Chris is laughing there. Everybody's laughing. That's one in blue for real. You just know it. I throw the TV talk out the window. And it's this one for me. It's this moment. It's Leicester get the ball, and exactly. Leicester get the ball, and the one thing they cannot seem to handle is whether it's Indeedy, Dewsbury Hall, or Madison picks it up, or even Yuri Tillemans, is these players are so afraid that we're playing ping pong ball in the box, because I'll get on to that in a second. The ping pong ball means that the Barnes and Madisons and Dewsbury Halls and Maguires and the Mark Albrightons that normally we would see propelling forward, and a ball would be played in that direction from the run onto, or vice versa on this side. What we're seeing is, because when a dangerous ball gets into our box, Leicester are pinballing it, and it's going this way, then back, and then this way and back. By the time it actually gets out to our release point, which is indeed the most normally, he's playing a ball there or there, and our attacking players are already 5 yards behind the ball. You know, if you're playing the ball there, he's expecting them players to already be there. But because they're so focused and so weary of a ball deflecting to them and they not being in the right area to help clear it for Leicester, that Leicester are already 5 yards behind their own counter-attack. And when we lose it in that position, it's like our defenders are so concerned about a bad clearance leading to Wolves having a chance, or our opponents having a chance, that our left back especially forgets his positioning. And that is where it's been costing us, because whilst our defensive shape in terms of building out from the back has got better, again, I have lost the counter because I'm absolutely throwing stuff around today. When our press is normal and we've got the ball and we're in control, it works fine. You know, we've got the emergency recycle, we've got the press from our wing backs. Ricardo was brilliant today, I thought, on that side. He did his job well. He stuck to the lines when he needed to and only came in when he should. But my glaring pass is we get too excited and caught out with the ball over the top, and Luke Thomas needs to work on his positioning, because we really do get caught out on that side way too much for my liking. One thing I will say is we don't see that from JJ. Maybe that's where he needs to learn his game from, because JJ does not get caught out with that ball down the line. He follows his man. So maybe that's where Brendan needs to work.
Indeed, as always.
And you know what, mate? Just for comical value, and that is my tactical analysis.
Well, I did actually say, and I don't think you were looking at the screen at the time, but I did actually say that Sky don't have these technical problems.
I know, but at least I'm made for the professional and just keep going with it. Jamie Carragher would say it was all, Roy Keane would say it was their job, and Jamie Carragher would play Gary Neville. So, you know.
Molina will take Yuri Tillemans off you. Hey, finish in the top four, Molina, and you've got a good chance of getting him. Anyway, I've got to say, I'm just hearing on the thing. We're going to go to our correspondent now, who's live. Yeah, he's coming live. Let me just see if we can get him in. Coming live from Guantanamo Bay. Good evening. How are you?
It's the man that knows his Spanish.
It is.
Yes, I do. Well, hello. Hope you're well. I know you're not gonna be well, but
we're not. Yeah, we're not sort of overflowing with happiness and goodwill. But I don't know. I mean, sometimes you just got to look at it and go, "We didn't get what we deserved." And I don't think that was one of today's. You know, when you say like, "Oh, you have a bad day at the office," then that was one of them. Just like Brad's had a bad day at the office with his pinboard. You got to sometimes just accept these things. As a neutral, did you think it was a fair result?
No, I really don't. I made several notes. First 15 minutes, I thought Leicester were creating a lot of chances. Where Wolves are very, very direct in terms of, they're looking for one man and one man only at certain times in Jimenez. Leicester have more of a sort of wider approach where they can go to Lootman, you can go to Albrighton, you can drop it into the midfield with Tillemans and Dewsbury Hall, which I thought, again, had another brilliant game. I think Daka, unfortunately, just wasn't his game today. He was quite poor, to be honest. I'm not gonna, say he wasn't, because I'm on your channel. I want to, give it honest. He was poor, but maybe what you and Brad have said, that you're trying to turn him into Vardy. Maybe that might be, sort of the reason behind that. Trying to turn Daka into Jamie Vardy, like in the way that he plays.
Vardy.
Jamie
Vardy.
Yeah,
there's one mean Vardy.
Vardy.
I love that. I'm sorry, man. I'm not taking the we here. I just absolutely love the Welsh accent and the
You
fact
say
that
the same thing for when I say about the throw-in sport.
yeah,
I'm not saying it because you're just gonna pelt it again.
What I like about the Welsh is why use 1A when 5 or 6 will do. I love it, but I do apologise. I put it in there. I wasn't apologising for the insult. That was meant. Yeah. Apologise for
cutting in. Yeah.
Yeah, please carry on.
Yeah, so Daka, like I said, tried to turn into that historic Leicester number 9. I thought Schmeichel. Oh God's sake! I thought Schmeichel could have done better for their second goal. But then again, to be fair, I thought you should have closed Podence down. It was so obvious that it was going to come. Yes, it was, not lucky that it went in, but just lucky the way that it was a pop shot and it went in. I think it was not so much a pop shot in terms of I'll just hit this and just hope it goes in, but pop shot in terms of the sort of direction of the ball. He probably thought that someone was going to get a foot on it on the way in.
I tell you what I did notice on that. I don't know if you did as well, Brad. Soyuncu was started to turn away from shots. Yeah. Now, he made himself thin because obviously he held his hands behind his back, and I understand that because, knowing our luck, it would hit his hand, and they'd get a penalty. I know we don't get penalties, and goals are given when it goes in off the hand, but because it's Leicester, not that I'm bitter. You don't know anything, I'm bitter. But he turns at the ball. I mean, he's a bloody 6'0". He's got the huge one, as we know, as the song goes. I mean, just stand there and take it in the stomach if you've got to. But I've noticed he does that quite a bit at the moment.
Yeah, the thing is, it seems to be a trend that they're teaching centre backs at the moment because, and I'm just going to try and cheer myself up with this memory, but I remember Yuri Tielemans' winning goal in the FA Cup.
I remember you.
Yeah, and Thiago Silva, 36? The guy who's probably gone in 2-footed to win a meaty challenge.
Yeah.
What did he do? He did exactly the same. He took his arms and turned away from the ball. It's something he's probably never done in his career till these last couple of seasons, maybe, or maybe only in the Premier League. I don't know. He never came across as a character that was shy away from it, and it does give that opinion. You almost, you was taught, weren't you, at school? Get your head on it, get in front of it, get a block on it, and I don't know why they're getting taught these things or why they're being told to incorporate it into the game, but I wish they'd really well stop it because Soyuncu's not obviously the only one. They do it in every team, and it's so annoying to see.
Yeah.
Because you're thinking if he takes that to the chest, right? All right. If he takes that full whack to the chest and then a Wolves guy follows it in the top corner from there, and you go, all right, fair dues. If he's hitting I want to say a calculated chance, he's hitting a chance where the odds are more in his favour. That if he knows he hits it towards a goal, he's got a better chance of deflecting in it. Maybe wrong foot in Casper, or it's going to at least work Casper, which obviously it didn't just work Casper, it beat him. But you're thinking, if he does that, there's also a chance that the ball hits his chest and drops dead in front of him, and then he just hoofs it 30 yards up pitch. I can't get why it's been something we taught now when don't fix what's broken, and it was never broken.
You'd never get Maguire doing that, would you, Mike?
No, but he's a fridge. He takes him 3 games to turn around.
Maguire was actually good today, to be honest. But
he actually scored for you.
But only because he's been jumping for that corner for 3 games.
3? That's an understatement. More like 103. But yeah.
If anybody's got nothing to do later, do get over to what's your channel again, Mike?
United TV.
United TV. I think it is it's short for Leeds United TV. That, but get over to United TV. Well, it could be Scunthorpe United. I mean, you are not the only United out there. But anyway, no, all joking about, get over to United TV, get up to the point where Manchester United score their 4th goal, and just see if you think that could be our entrance for this year's Eurovision Song Contest. Because Mike's singing, well, I always got to be honest with you, that the Welsh were known for their singing. But,
yeah,
you're obviously not in the prison choir there, are you, Mike? But, I mean, did you think? I mean, the papers seem to like sort of as soon as something slightly goes wrong. This Man United, you've had as bad a season as us with everything that's going wrong and papers picking on you, and they do seem to like it, kicking you when you're down. But today I said to Brad earlier, I think the players were really going for it for Brendan today.
Yeah, there's no fight. There's no lack of fight in that team, is there? Today was excellent showing up for that. Like I said, you got the result that you didn't deserve today. You should have beat Wolves in terms of they had very little output. But I tell you what, some of the players that they have at their disposal on their day were excellent. Like I thought Juan Hichan when he came on was very good. Podence was very good as well. But you worked as a team today. I think Yuri, I don't get that comment that I saw earlier. I think it was from Andrew saying that Yuri was poor today. I thought he was close to your man of the match. He was absolutely excellent. Yeah. He was closing everything there, and he had that one pop shot that I think either went wide or over the bar. And when he missed that, he was like, "Oh my God, I want to go again. I want another shot to try and put that right." It doesn't seem like, "Oh, I've missed that. Oh, don't worry, I'm off in the summer anyway." It seems like every mistake he wants to just rectify. A loose ball, he'll chase it back. And Lootman as well was absolutely superb today. Every single ball, ball that he lost, he was back and he was tracking back. He was like a wing back today.
Brad, Lootman, and I said this right at the start, didn't I? That Lootman was out on his his natural left. It's a position he's always. He playing darts there. Or are you just trying to throw some? I'm just waiting for it to appear now on Mike's side. You were like that. Just waiting for it to come through.
Just seeing if the dimensions were opening up, so I could hit him on the head with something. Just
but no, Lootman was on his. Well, he played more on his left. So I think it probably is his preferred side. He never gets a chance for that because, of course, Harvey Barnes, and he had a brilliant game there.
Yeah, he did. And, I said it to him in a message, he plays on the left, he plays on his right. That Adamola Lootman is fucking dynamite. I'm a big advocate and a fan for Lootman. I've been impressed with most of his performances. And even when he's had a bad game, it's been a collective bad game by the team. So it's not really one where you can just lay the blame at him. So I've never really had too much in a negative way to say about him. I think he's good. I don't. If there is a Leicester fan out there that still isn't convinced that we shouldn't try and make it permanent, then I don't know what else you want him to do. That's his 6th goal in 26 games for us. For a loanee signing,
It doesn't always start. In fairness to him,
yeah, it doesn't always start. I think that's his 12th start in 17 games for us this season in leagues, 26 in all competitions. He's getting assists, or he's a major contributor behind a goal, or he's scoring them. Correct me if I'm wrong, we haven't had that from a winger since, obviously Barnes, but in terms of a certain replacement, we haven't had it since that one, which is Mahrez. So what more do Leicester fans want? I don't care if people still want to argue the price or think he's not worth the 15 million or whatever. Even then, I'd still look at you with my eyebrows raised. But if there's only Leicester fans still there not thinking we shouldn't be going to Leipzig going, let's talk about bringing this guy in, because it just does the work rate for you. He's putting the effort in.
Do you think, and my mind's gone blank, Brad, who was the one we had last season on that position? Turkish player.
Cengiz Under.
That's it. Mike, I don't know if you saw much of Under last season, but it's always going to be difficult to fill a gap like when when we've had somebody like Mahrez in there. And do you think Lootman is the one? Do you think we finally? He's not saying he's a Mahrez, but is he the one that would if you were Leicester manager, would you be going out to try and buy him in 15 million? That's what we pay for Vestergaard.
Well, just to touch on Under first of all, as the first part of the question, I did watch a bit of him last season, but I watched more of him in the Euros, and he was probably the shining light of a bad Turkey team in the Euros. To be fair, they were awful, Turkey, and Under, and I think it was their centre back that plays for Juventus played very very well for them as well. But Lootman, I think he's worth. I really think he's worth more than the 15, probably about triple it at the moment. He's got bags of potential. Not just can he play off the left and right, and he's dynamite, Brad, but he can play through the middle at a very good, accountability as well. He can drive the ball forward. In terms of replacement for Mahrez is always going to be hard. He was excellent for you. Mahrez. To be a replacement for that Algerian winger, it's always going to be hard because he was very, very good for you. But the longer term, I think he will definitely be a massive part of. I don't think it's a rebuild. I agree with Brad, but whatever the forward is for Leicester.
I mean, maybe he just Brad came out and said that as a threat, if you like. Like pull your socks up, guys. Otherwise I will be doing a rebuild.
Well, I mean, don't know.
No, go on, Mike. Go on.
Oh, I was just about to say I don't know if that would be sort of able to do that because the lack of investment that you may get with obviously the hit that your owners have taken with this all, it might be hard to say right 4 or 5 out, 5 or 6 in to rebuild. It might be a slow process of there is a couple of players that are not good enough. Obviously, Vestergaard, Perez as well. If you can get 2 out in the summer and bring 3 in, you're starting that process already. But I'm
going to jump to Vestergaard's defence now because I actually praised him.
Sorry.
I praised his performance the other night, but as a defender or as any player, if you come into a team that has got, like I've always said, 9 injuries to defensive players we've had this season, 9. Jurgen Klopp spat his dummy out when they had 1. So he hasn't really, had the chance to show his best. So hopefully, he will come good. But look at the substitutions, Brad. He made 2 substitutions. I thought he made more, but it says here on the bit he made 2 substitutions: Maddison for Ndidi, Inacho for Daka. Wolves seem to make 4 or 5. And I know we're quick enough to criticise some of his bad substitutions, but do you think he could have done more to try and get that last goal?
No, at the end of the day, we weren't getting as much effectiveness out of playing Daka as we were liking, and obviously as much as he was wanting to. Again, I still think you have to hold that down to the fact that maybe we need to stop trying to replicate Jamie Vardy in him and let him be his own player. I mean, it's great to have the qualities seen in him as what Vardy is, and that said, but he need to maybe work on that a bit. So he put Iniacho on. It was a good choice. Iniacho's a different type of striker.
Yeah,
I think he gives us that ability. He gives us an extra sort of man in the build-up stage of it, as well as getting into the box. And yeah, I mean, look, having Ndidi as an outlet is exactly what Leicester have been accustomed to over the years. Having Ndidi and Kante there over the years, Samore there when he's played there, or even Chowdhury. But in a game where we're thinking we're 2-1 down, we can't go defensive. We have to go forward. He put Maddison on.
And in fairness, looking at that bench, there wasn't actually anything else. There's no other real what you would call attacking stroke forward player, apart from obviously Mr. P. And whether you could call him an attacking or forward player, of course, is a matter of conjecture. So probably he did what he could do. I'm going to bring this up now. Say every week we have. I forgot his name now. He's going to kill me.
Alan Bennett.
Alan Bennett, thank you. I'm so sorry, Alan. It's my age. I'm getting old. I struggle. It's all I can do to remember Brad. If he gets to the end of every game, he does the pick Dixon, our man of the match for Leicester Till I Die, and gives the team and manager ratings because, to be honest with you, he's there. He sees it live. We don't always see it on the telly in the same way. We don't see what's going on off the ball. And although this guy, he probably actually put more fight into the match than Amir Khan did into the boxing match last night. Lootman,
that was an awful fight, that was.
Lootman really went for it at one point, but he has been named man of the match. Ademola Lootman. 6 for the manager, 6 for the team. Do you think that's fair, Brad?
I think the problem is when you rate a team's performance, you kind of get it into your head certain scores for certain results. So if you lose a game, you think, well, I can't go above a 6 because they don't deserve it. It's not really, don't make sense. But I actually think they deserve to be up a number each. I think it was a game that, not to sound like a Jose Mourinho, it was a game we totally dominated and the better team lost in the end, in my opinion. But the more clinical team won. Is probably the reverse of that. So, I still think they deserve sevens. They never stopped trying. Right, I mean that 94, that 4-minute stoppage time was absolute bedlam in terms of Leicester piling it on. I mean, if only we was effective from corners as we've been bad from defending corners this season. We might have scored 3 in that 94 minutes for the amount of corners we had.
All we needed was a Liverpool goalkeeper, wasn't it?
Yeah, we just needed an Alisson instead of a Danishman, and in there. But lo and behold, it wasn't to be. But I can't just screw the man of the match. He was brilliant. He got the goal. Looked sharp throughout. And like Mike said, it's not just left and right; it is the middle. But unfortunately, Mike trying to say he's left and he's right and getting that to rhyme with dynamite without including the middle is a bit of a long-winded song to sing, mate.
Well, it is actually, to me.
Mike, what do you think of the neutral? What do you think of the 3 things there? The manager, the team ratings, and the man of the match.
Man of the match, spot on, yeah. But I know by seeing the comments through some of your streams in recent past that if a lot of your subscribers are going to hate me here, but I think the manager deserves higher than the team. And the reason being is he didn't actually do anything wrong. Like you said, looking at the bench, what else could he have brought on? It was just basically one of those games where you're not clinical enough and you lose. I think Brad mentioned earlier about Man United Fulham last season. Yeah, they had 2 shots, 1 on target, scored it. I think we had 27 on target, 1-1 draw. And it's just the better team did lose. There's nothing Brendan Rodgers could have done. I put as one of my points that I was writing down, Rodgers out ? And then as soon as I wrote it, I was like, no, it's not. No, there's nothing he could have done there. And Wolves didn't deserve the win, but they were clinical, and that's what you need to do.
We do get rid of managers much, in my opinion. We get rid of managers much too soon.
Yeah, Watford do it a bit quicker than others.
At a non-footballing job out there, and whether it's retail or wherever, if you're having a bad time, you are given a chance to turn it round. It's very unless you're in your in your first 6 months or whatever, your probation period, they come to you, they tell you what you're doing wrong. They give you a chance to turn it around before they get rid of you. I mean, maybe we need to try that in football.
Not just that. To back up that point, with a player, it's different because you can put your arm around the player as a manager and sort of like explain to him, because some players need different treatment. Some players would much rather you just tell them as it is, you were crap, basically. And some of us would need, the arm around the shoulder and, that wasn't good enough. But if you do this, that, and that, you can become better. No one really can do that for a manager. You won't see the owners putting the arm around the shoulder of a manager. So that's why I think managers always get the full end of it, really.
I think as well, I mean, in fairness, they are paid very handsomely to make the decisions and take the book to stop with them. I think we probably are the closest to having a chairman that would be able to have a chat and sit down and put his arm around Brendan. The league table, Brad. Ooh, are we going to get sucked in? And I'm going to question here. I think Brad, Dan asked it right at the start about. Let's just see if I've still can find that. It was a while ago. He said here, are you worried about now being dropped into the bottom half relegation rat race?
No, not at all. Crystal Palace, Brentford, Leeds, Everton, Newcastle, Watford, Burnley, Norwich, all worse than us. All worse than us right now, all worse than us over the majority of the season, and will continue to be worse than us more than enough. I'm not too worried. I'm frustrated and just want the run to kind of come to an end and we get our first win, and then I do still believe it will turn. And I had Burnley might be the perfect tonic they need. They might get a bit too excited against us, really fancy the chances because they went to Brighton and got their result. Hopefully that catch them out and we'll start putting things right. But there's too many teams in there that would need to somehow go on amazing form to even remotely get us in relegation trouble. I know I'm one that normally says, "Oh, don't say you're too good to go down," but I think they've all got to play each other. They're not going to between the 8 or 9 teams that separate us, they're not going to pick up enough points to drag us into a relegation fine. I would honestly say, and I know it might sound ridiculous being only maybe just enough Crystal Palace, but I would say Villa upwards, you're fine for this year. Just kind of do what's been doing the rest of the season, just kind of scrape along, get a few wins here and there, and you're not going to have a brilliant season, but you're not going to go. They're not going to go down.
Wolves have actually got the next 2 games for Wolves are Arsenal and West Ham United, who are directly above them at the moment, so they haven't got the easiest of run-ins, and I think both of them are away from home as well. But Mike, looking at this, I mean, we're going to take sort of the top 4 out of it because Manchester United may, they're sat there at the moment. There's no reason, let's face it, if they put a run together, there's no reason why they shouldn't end up there. But Arsenal, they've won 3 in 5. Wolves have won 4 in 5. Once you get past that, Tottenham have only won 2 in 5. Brighton have only won 1 in 5. Southampton have only won 2. All right, we haven't won any in 5. But just to back up what Brad was saying there, Villa have only won 1 in 5. Palace haven't won any in 5. Brentford haven't won any in the last 5. Leeds have only won 1, as has Everton have only won 1. Newcastle, the form team down there, winning 3. Watford have only won 1. Norwich have won 2. And of course, if you're still watching, Dan, Burnley have won 2 all season.
Don't know about the last 5.
We don't worry about the last. We can really go back to find your other winning game. So you've won 2 all season. So like Brad said there, I think there's worse teams than us that are going to go down. Would you not say?
Oh yeah, there's no fear of going down. But in terms of teams not winning games, I've noticed a lot this season that teams playing nice football but losing. Like Southampton, I've seen them a couple of times this season. I've seen even Leeds. Leeds played all right today. I've seen Watford play I've seen Watford beat us 4-1 at Vicarage Road. I've seen Watford host Villa on the Watford have done the double over Villa this season, but I've seen them go to difficult places and make it difficult. Yes, they've probably got beat, which is why half these teams have got no wins in 5. But the league is weird now. There's apart from the odd few,
it's been weird all season though, hasn't it?
Yeah. Apart from the odd few, teams are playing well and losing. Prime example was your game today. The better team lost, and we're seeing that too much this season. But no, to answer your question,
checks in the post to you.
but you're not going to go down. No way.
And I just think
Darko's comment was quite correct. If we can't get 10 points from 15 games, then we do deserve to get relegated.
Yes.
I just don't see that not happening.
You've got Burnley and Leeds next, and you were just mentioning about potentially finishing that lower part, and one of them is 15th, and the other is either 19th or 20th. So it's if you can't beat them, then Brad and Dorker or whatever is right.
Yeah, I mean, I get what everybody's saying, and I just think Brad said it right at the start, and I've got to say I agree with him. Looking at this season now, all our eggs are going to go into the conference basket and see if we can get something out of that. I know the likes of Man United and Arsenal and Liverpool look down the nose at the conference, but at the end of the day, it's Europe.
Not Tottenham. they would love to still be in it.
Well, if they take part, they'll just do something to get themselves thrown out, won't they? And I think we have to look now at consolidating it, but I don't think there's an outsider mark. I don't think there's that much. I mean, everybody's saying that what a disastrous year it's been, but as Clint Morrison said, judge Brendan Rodgers, but also I think you should judge Leicester when we are back to full strength. And I think the fact is that nobody's appreciated that we have had. Like I say, I'm not even looking at midfielders or strikers, but just looking at 9 defenders injured at some point this season. And the reason that it's not picked up on is because Brendan doesn't go on about it.
Yeah, very true.
He's not using that as an excuse, but it is obviously going to affect your form.
He seems like a sensible guy, Brendan Rodgers, as well. I've noticed in certain press conferences when you have been either poor or below average in some performances. He seems to, keep his cards close to his chest, I've noticed. And only recently, I think it was the Forest game that he mentioned, that sort of, not dug the players out, but sort of had a sort of word to say about them. And I think he seems like the sort of manager that doesn't want to blame his players. And like Brad said earlier in the show, he's kept a lot of issues in the club and sort of sorted them out with the suspensions of Maddison, I think it was. Just suspended him left him out of the team for a few games, brought him back in. Leicester fans probably know this more than neutrals what was going on, but Brendan never actually came out in a press conference and said, no, this person did this, hence why he's having this suspension.
Yeah. Just quickly towards the end now, because I see we're keeping you awake here, Brad. Question for Chris and Brad. I'll let you go first, Brad. Do you feel you kept the momentum from the Randers game, or was it a complete change of tactic against Wolves?
No, I think we approached it the same way. We was more on the front foot. And again, I stand by it. I'd like anyone to try and say that we didn't completely control that 90 minutes. I do not remember a spell of pressure where I can probably think of that small 3 minutes where Wolves had about 3 corners. And Mike, you watched the game, obviously, by the sounds of things.
Yeah.
So, am I just being a bit like my cousin Bamba and being a bit blue tinted, or
don't get me started on that.
Did Wolves have a spell of pressure? Because that's normally where you can pinpoint a side saying, oh, well, yeah, I know they're at home, and eventually they had that 20-minute spell. I just don't feel or sense that Wolves ever had that 20-minute spell, which you come accustomed to when a team normally nicks a win like that. I think that was impressive improvement, and I think the lads need to take encouragement from it themselves.
Yeah. I thought the only bits of pressure were, coincidentally, their only moments of clinicality was their 2 goals. I thought, that bit of play on the left-hand side for their either left or from the right-hand side for the first one. The second one, like I said, you got to, first of all, you've got to mark Podence on the edge of the box. He's so good on his right foot, and he cuts right across it. And not just that, the Sonuchu making himself, slim and tucking his arms behind his body. You've got to just take that on and take that, sort of full on and approach, sort of come out and approach the ball as it's coming towards you. And, he made that mistake. But apart from that, like you said, they didn't offer anything.
No. We're going to be straight back after this.
Watch us on YouTube.
Listen on your favourite podcast platform.
Or ask your smart speaker
to play the podcast Leicester Till I Die.
Subscribe, like, follow, and join in now.
Yeah, if you're on YouTube, please smash those likes and give us a subscribe. We're growing slowly. A bit like Mike, really.
No way.
4 foot. I don't think he gets enough sun in that prison cell. That's what it is,
Wales in general.
Well, this is very true. I'm surprised you're not rusty, mate. That I said, I don't know whether I prefer the rain or the wind that we've got down there, because it's been windy whole bloody day. Brad, ask you this last question. Randers on Thursday. It's 5 o'clock kickoff. We'll be chatting, obviously, after that for the post-match. If we play like we did even today with losing, we've got nothing to worry about, have we, against Randers?
No, if we play like we did against that, it was the quality that Randers hold and the way they're going to have to play that game. They can't even do what they tried to do at the King Power, which was try and keep us at bay. They've got to come at us because there's no away goal, so they won't get anything. Even if they won 3-0, it'd just go extra time. Can't see it. I can't see them scoring. I think it'll be comfortable. I think we will see clearly that Rodgers may concede that this season's going to have to be a case of do as well as we can, but we're not going to get any competition qualification places in terms of our league position. I think Rodgers will, even though we've got a 3-0 aggregate lead, I don't see someone like a Perez playing. I don't see like wholesale changes like we've seen before.
That said, we've got no match next weekend because it's the League Cup final and we were due to play Chelsea. So we're not talking about having to rest players here. He can put out his strongest team. And I think he should. I know, it's 4-1 and we're virtually through. We've seen how that can come back and bite you on the bum. Cough, Porto, uncough.
Although Porto was a complete dead rubber.
Yes, it was. But that said, if we treat it a bit like that, then we suddenly start getting nervous because they get one back, then they get two back, and this is Leicester this season. So no match. Make a statement, Brendan. Put out your strongest team that is available, and let's just maybe score another 4 or 5 because it isn't going to do the confidence any good. And the guys have all got a weekend off. Last question, Brad. Oh, sorry. Carry on.
No, I was just going to add to that. I said, and it's also the perfect thing, going into that break that Leicester can sweep aside Randers, do the same sort of job they did in the first leg, and if they win in the second leg 3 or 4-0, and they get that like 7 or 8-1 aggregate win, they go into that game. They're all right. We're going to look against Wolves. We took our frustrations out of Randers. This time, we're not going to let it slip. We're going to take our chances against Burnley and correct it.
Yeah. I'm going to come to Mike after this because I want to see if he will buy this player from us. But Brad, very last question this time. Perez going in the summer?
Please. I
know you're saying please, but do you think he will?
Yeah, I do. Honestly, no. All my vendetta against Perez aside, although it's clearly justified, they're the sort of players I'm looking at thinking they're the ones that Brendan's going to have to get rid of next season. A certain Peter Taylor had Junior Lewis as his love child. Well, it's time Brendan gives up his. In Perez, there's a few other names that I won't talk about too much because they're not certain, but there is other names you could probably mention in that caliber. But for me, he has to go, and I think he will go. I just don't think it's doing anybody any benefits, him not getting into a team.
No. Brad, you can be found at Full-Time Focus, I believe, on Twitter. Do go and give Brad a follow. He likes to be stalked, so do give him a follow and get chasing him. Brad, thanks very much, mate. I will see you on Tuesday night for the prediction show.
Yeah, and I probably predict I'm going to keep my bad run going.
Well, I hope you do. I'll predict you'll probably come back and beat me again. Thanks very much, Brad. Take care, mate. Sorry?
Yeah. See you on Tuesday, mate. It's a good job we didn't have a bet on who would get 100 points first because it looks like it's going to be you.
I didn't like to mention that point, but yes, you're quite right. Mate, take care. I'll speak to you on Tuesday night. Cheers.
Yeah, see you later.
Bye-bye. Mike, very quickly, I guess, you don't want to buy Perez.
No. As much as, no, again, your subscribers are going to hate me. As much as I do think there's a player in there, no. Unfortunately, I don't, Chris. You gave us one.
There's a player in there, but I just think he's too shy to come out.
Well, you gave us the Jekyll and Hyde of Harry Maguire. I don't want the Jekyll and Hyde of Perez.
I know, but it was a £50 million difference between what we paid and what we got, But hey, look.
He scored today, Maguire. So
all joking aside, Perez, he's had enough time. And Vestergaard, we know, he's had his problems, but he's not coming to a side with a settled back 3-4-5, whatever it is. He doesn't know. He has to be introduced to his defensive line at the start of every game because he probably doesn't remember who they were because he's not played with them before. But but talking about playing, I had to, unfortunately, Mike took part in the Big Fat Football Quiz 2 last week. And we took it to a penalty shootout, and he actually won. The last two have been penalty shootouts. They've been really, really close.
And not just did I get close to Adam Lootman's number, I got the exact number.
Oh no, you were you were spot on with the number, but the actual whole match was close because the problem was you were 4-1 down coming into the dirty names, and you knew your families and you knew your arse bandits, didn't you? So that's all I can say. You should have been defending it this Wednesday. I've had to apply World Boxing Council rules here, and as you are unable to defend your title. I've had to take it away from you, and we've got Craig coming in to take on. I've forgotten who he's taking on now. Doug, yeah. But you will be back. You will be back at a later date. Next time before you say yes, just check if Man United are playing. Although I can't be honest with you, why you would want to watch Man United in the Champions League when you can do one of my quizzes? I mean, come on. What?
You might be able to hear my singing again, Chris.
I would rather not. God.
So that's
I'm still picking glass up where you broke my. The sound of it broke my pint glass earlier. I've got a glass all over the floor. So much for the Welsh being able to sing. I tell you what, you bashed that Smith out, that saying out the window straight away, mate.
Yeah, wasn't quite the best of karaoke. Exploits that.
Best of karaoke, yeah. Just I don't think Simon Cowell's going to be waiting by his phone. Mike, thanks for popping on and giving your neutral view. Where can people find you?
Well, if you want to listen to a load of songs.
If you like Man United, no. If you like darts and what have you, you can find Mike. He really does a good show. You give a shout out, Mike.
So Mike Green on YouTube, and also check out United TV as well. That's where I'm going to do all Man United content on there, rather than switching it up between the two to make it confusing. But yeah, make sure to subscribe. Make sure to subscribe to Chris as well. Can't barely get my bloody words out there.
Thank you very much. There's too many A's. That's the thing. No, Mike, thank you.
Then that's just for at.
Yeah, exactly. At. I'm sorry, I shouldn't, but it's funny. Thanks very much, Mike. Get Mike. I'll add your details to the information below, so people can find you. And good luck to Man United on Wednesday. Now, there's something I never thought I'd say.
You prefer England over Spain? That's the only reason.
No, that is it exactly.
Yeah.
Who is it you're playing?
Atletico Madrid away.
Oh yes, stuff them, because they get fed up with drawing against them and them knocking us out. So go and. I mean, you didn't do us a favour with Villarreal. You didn't break any of their players' legs, which we wish you had done. So have a go at Atletico Madrid. Mike,
yeah, we will.
I'm sure you got your exercise hour coming up when they let you out your cell for a bit and walk around the yard. So I won't keep you any longer. Go and enjoy
Not in this bloody weather.
And don't forget Mike's other Twitter at Guantanamo Bay 156MG. So thanks very much, mate. I'll see you later. Take care.
Thanks for getting me on.
Cheers. Thanks for going on. Cheers. That is my Anthony. Thank you very much. Good stream, Chris. Tillemans to Arsenal. Like I say, mate. Whichever team he goes to, they're going to get a good player. We know that. We've said that before. He is amazing player. Had we actually got? Have I gone off? I've gone blank here. I've gone blank. Oh, here we go. I had a black screen for a minute there. My computer is playing up. But no, when he wants Champions League football. So if Arsenal do finish in the top four, Anthony, you've as good a chance of getting him as anybody else has. At this rate, we might actually see a bidding war, which will obviously only do us a favour. Mike says, cheers for getting me on. You're welcome, Mike. Thanks for coming on and giving your unbiased view. He wants UCL, Anthony, so that won't be Arsenal. Might not be Man United yet, mate. Don't count your chickens. We all know Wreck-It Ralph. He wins, he loses. You never know what he's going to do week in, week out. But you are on a good run. So again, Man United, if you make it into the top four, you've got as good a chance as getting it. He's not English, so he may well fancy playing abroad. Barcelona, Real Madrid, they've still got the pull, and they aim to be able to find money to buy players, even though they're gone bust. So he'll go. Good luck to him. And like I say, whoever's in the Premier League, in the Champions League, will have a good chance of getting him. It's kind of funny today. I don't know how I feel. I think I feel a little bit like Brad said. I just feel a bit sort of, we we did deserve to win. Like Mike said, I do think we were the better team. Their second goal was completely against the run of play. Anthony, yeah, I wouldn't bother Anthony. I really wouldn't. But no, joking apart, do give him a follow. I think it's just the fact that you knew it was coming. You know, we sat there and went like, you know what, 1-1. We are attacking. It has been all season. We've not actually made our possession count, and that's been the big thing. When we've had our periods of possession, our periods of being on top, we haven't made it count, and then the opposition come along and they punish us. We have had a defense problems, you know, but hopefully the man with the hammer's coming in the morning to mend it. No, we have had defensive problems. I mean, it's going to be interesting. We've got a show tomorrow at 7 o'clock, guys. If you're free tomorrow at 7, we're going to look at the game. I'm actually going to have a Wolves fan on from Talking Wolves. It's Matt Cooper. So he'll be joining us tomorrow at 7. And we're also probably going to get on a Brendan Out Leicester fan. I think Brendan should not go. Like I said, I don't know how you can judge. And don't get me wrong, you know, I will call him, you know, Brendan Bellend after the West Ham game when he made that substitution. He cost us the game. But, you know, we do sack managers too quickly, you know, and you can look at Puel and say, well, he didn't get a chance or whatever, but it depends where we are. At the moment, like you say, we're not going to get relegated. Probably not going to get into Europe, but you know, we've. I'm not saying we've punched above our weight for the last 2 seasons, but we've played really well. And obviously, as fans, when you play really well, you expect more. All I will say is this time last year, Man United were supposed to be linked with Brendan Rodgers. Spurs were being linked with Brendan Rodgers. And all the Leicester fans were like, oh, no, you're not having Brendan. He's not going anywhere. Get your own managers, blah, blah, blah. And now all they're saying is get Brendan out. Make your minds up. You can't. I know football fans are fickle, but we've got to stick with him. And I think Top will. I think Mike mentioned it earlier. You know, managers put their arm around players. Who does that for the manager? I think Top, to be honest with you. I think he's got the way he is, the relationship he's got with Brendan. I just think it's a good fit for Brendan. I really, really do. And it is a journey. And I think the youngsters that are coming through, Tillemans goes. Do we need to go out and buy somebody? I think not, because we've got Kieran Dewsbury Hall there. And let's be honest with you, yeah, he's not young. It was mentioned earlier, you know, he's been around, he's done his, you know, year at Luton, and now at 24, he is outperforming some of the regular, you know, recognised stars at Leicester. So we might not need to go out and spend 30 million and get a replacement for or a like-for-like replacement for Tillemans. When we've got players like that coming through. Barnes is young. Luke Thomas is coming through. He had a good game today. And of course, Ricardo, you know, we're shouting about how good he is. Well, he's just signed a contract extension. So we're not that sinking ship that Rats are wanting to jump by any means. Join me next week, 7 o'clock. Like I say, on Monday, we have got the weekend opposition show. So we're going to be talking, like I said, to the Wolves fan and looking back at the match through his eyes. 9 o'clock on Monday, we've got the weekend roundup when we'll be looking at all the weekend games. Hosting that with Dan. I am sure he's going to have something to say because they actually remembered how to put a ball in a net and actually win a game. Having said that, can't say much with Leicester at the moment, can I? Followed on Tuesday at 9 o'clock, it's the prediction show. On Wednesday, we've got the Randers preview show with Craig. And at 9 o'clock, Craig standing in for Mike, who's had his title taken off him because he can't stand in because he arranged to do it, not knowing that his team was playing. I mean, you know, typical Man United fan, isn't it, really? Let's be honest. So we're going to have Craig versus Doug at 9 o'clock on Wednesday. And obviously the match Yes, the big match. Randers should do it. And then we'll be into the knockout stages of the Conference League, and I still want to win it, guys. If you're watching it, thank you so much. Like Dan said earlier, please smash the likes. Please subscribe if you haven't. It does mean an awful lot to me in building this station. What am I saying? Building this channel for you. If you're listening on catch up on podcast, thank you so much for listening. I will see you all tomorrow night at 7 o'clock back here. Remember what I always say, take care of yourselves and don't do anything that I wouldn't enjoy. Good night.
Leicester Till I Die podcasts on the Apple iTunes, Spotify, Google, Anchor, and all podcast platforms.
The Leicester Till I Die shop is now open.
For all your Leicester Till I Die merchandise,
Visit the Leicester Till I Die shop at our website. Thanks for watching Leicester Till I Die. This is Chris saying goodbye and see you next time.
That's all, folks.
Some people are on the pitch, they think it's all over. It is now.